Hello and welcome to Uniform Health, the fitness channel that takes a holistic approach to diet and exercise. So today I'm going to talk about organic and what it means to be organic. But before I say that, I want to talk about something else, which is natural. A product that is called natural is not differentiated from the market basically in the least. There is no laws or regulations around what you can call a natural product. You can call a beef patty that was made from a cow that was fed GMO corn that was sprayed with a variety of different pesticides and herbicides that are currently conventionally approved of, is still, and fed antibiotics and other approved of additives, is still a natural product. So you can still call that natural. And that's the thing that you get that's different with organic. With organic, there's stipulations that are involved. So basically, in order to be organic, you have to go through a 3-year regulatory process. You also have to only use the approved of items. So there's only a certain number of chemical additives that you can use in order to fight diseases in your animals and diseases on your plants, and infections and insects and other variety of different things. One thing I should mention, that the FDA does still frown upon using artificial sweeteners or artificial food colorings in natural products. Now, that said, so with organic, you get a product that is differentiated in the perspective that they're not using these said fertilizer, or the artificial fertilizers, or the NPK fertilizers. They're actually using a soil-based fertilizer, or a poo, essentially, fertilizer, and they're also using, or not using, I should say, the conventional therapies for remedying conditions and diseases. Now, one thing you should note is that these organic farmers still have to use something in order to combat diseases. We can't just all use insect frass and worm castings or probiotics in order to fight diseases. They're great prospectively for maintaining a lot of health, but some of these things are still not even yet completely approved of, or there's still a regulatory process that they're walking through. And noting that, there's some things that you should consider that, we still use tetracycline in to combat blight in apples. And so if you have, we also use streptomycin, and both of those are key antibiotics that we currently use for human diseases and human conditions. And there's also different sulfites that are used with organic products in order to fight different funguses, and also in order to combat insects. And these are all approved of. And there's also stipulations added to them, meaning that after using tetracycline to combat your apple blight, that you don't distribute them immediately after. There's a certain lull that you have to have. And some of that can be as long as a year or so. But the other thing that you have to consider is that this 3-year process that takes in order to actually become an organic farmer, you have to meet these regulatory claims that the USDA has certified or said to the consumer that this is what the farmers are producing. So that means that you have to pay for the accreditation services for like 3 years before you even get to charge your customers a premium, which can also be very hard on the farmer. So the other thing is that we need to consider is that, okay, so maybe you don't like the fact that tetracycline is being used to combat potato blight, or blight in apples, but you have to consider how difficult it is to produce foods. I have used insect frass and different variety. I mean, I'm not the best farmer, but I've used a variety of different ways to try and grow my tomatoes and basil. But I still got Japanese beetles, and I still got powdery mildew on my squash. So it's really difficult in order to produce a product that isn't going to have an infection or isn't going to have something wrong with it. And for these farmers who have so much of their livelihood invested in this, they need something in order to acutely solve the issue. And that's what they get with these otherwise maybe considered non-organic products. Keep in mind that from a chemical standpoint, some of you may know that organic just simply means that it has a carbon molecule. So anything with carbon, basically, which is many things, is considered chemically organic. That said, this list that's made up for organic farmers is made by someone. Now, who do you think that person is? Or who do you think that group is? Is it a bunch of scientists? Or is it a bunch of politicians yelling at people? Well, you may be happy or unhappy to find out that it is actually a select group of 15 citizens. Now, whether or not these citizens actually have political ties or anything else, I don't specifically know because they aren't alluded to who they are or what their names are. But the information will be linked below. But these 15 citizens collaborate together and I'm sure have an interchange or conversation with farmers saying, we don't like the fact that you're using tetracycline for blight. And the farmer goes, I got nothing else for you. Like, I got to use it somehow. And so they'll say, oh, okay, fine. Well, you can only use it in this condition. So that's what I want you to consider, is that when you're buying a food product, you should really know what you're buying. Basically, it's like if you're going to pay that premium, you owe it to yourself in order to look up how it differentiates itself from the rest of the market. Organic doesn't mean that it's grass-fed. Organic doesn't mean that it doesn't use, the only thing it really does say is that it doesn't have GMOs and it has only the selected antibiotics and herbicides to be utilized, and they feed it in only a certain way. They don't have a certain location, like it doesn't mean that it's local. It doesn't mean it's 150 miles away or anything like that that they actually source from. So that's what I want you to know, is that when you're buying something organic, don't assume that it is this all-encompassing entity. You should really consider, what do I think organic means, and what does it actually mean? How is it different from every other conventionally grown food? And that's really what I want to say, and I hope that you have learned something in this video, and if so, like, comment, and subscribe. Kind of screwed it up.